We have an AFC South showdown as CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans are taking on Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is your Week 3, 2025 prediction and preview video. Let's get straight into it with the home team, the Jaguars here. You're 1-1 on the season. Had a very good Week 1 win against the Carolina Panthers. But in Week 2, you had a lot of slip-ups against the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow went down with that toe injury. You had this game won, but it came down to the turnovers with Trevor Lawrence. 24 of 42 last week for Trevor. 271 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns to those 2 bad interceptions. This is the thing here with Trevor. He has 4 passing touchdowns and 3 interceptions for the first 2 weeks in the 2025 season. Just slow down and take what the defense gives you. He's trying to go out there and make the big play to Travis Hunter, and the same with Brian Thomas Jr. when you have open weapons underneath. When you go against a team like the Houston Texans, their secondary is amazing. With Derek Stingley Jr., the same with Kamari Lassner. You don't want to just go out there and test out that secondary over and over again. And they have very good safeties over the top as well with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and the same with Kalen Bullock. So test them underneath and test out those linebackers and take what the defense gives you. Trevor Lawrence has had some good moments so far with his brand new head coach, Liam Cohen, and the brand new offensive coordinator, and Grant Udinski. But you have to go out there and just play comfortable inside the pocket. And he did this very well in the first half against the Carolina Panthers, and the same against the Cincinnati Bengals. He only got sacked once last week. Now, the offensive line protection, sure, they'll have a couple plays where they'll give up some pressures, but Trevor Lawrence has easy options open in front of him. Trust the running backs out of the backfield and stop trying to force the football to Brian Thomas Jr., who is struggling right now. Brian Thomas Jr. was a top wide receiver last year as a rookie. He caught multiple passes from Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones. So far in 2 games, Brian Thomas Jr. has shied away from contact. And when you look at his numbers, 5 catches, 60 receiving yards. He is still the most talented wide receiver on this team, but you can shy away from him in those big time moments if you have to. Do not force him the football if he's not open. Those one-on-one situations, sure, they look fine, but they're starting to rack up in the turnover column for Trevor Lawrence. Parker Washington had 5 catches, 76 receiving yards last week. He's a solid number 3 option with this team, and run the offense through him. If he's wide open, he has those favorable matchups on a linebacker inside the slot. You also have De'Amon Brown. He had 57 receiving yards last week and a receiving touchdown. He was a huge deep threat last year with the Washington Commanders. You have more weapons on this offense besides Brian Thomas Jr. and the same with Travis Hunter, and Trevor Lawrence just has to get comfortable. It's okay to be aggressive, but right now Trevor Lawrence is being too aggressive. And I would not test out the deeper parts of the field against the Houston Texans. Baker Mayfield did not have a turnover against the Houston Texans. They won that matchup last week. More on that game when we talk about the Houston Texans. In Week 1, when the Texans went against Matthew Stafford and the Rams, he did not have a costly turnover in that game. Live through your run game, take those easy options, work off of play action. The Jags right now, through the first 2 games in the 2025 season, they lead the NFL in rushing yards as a team. Trevor Lawrence, he has very good mobility outside the pocket. ETN, 71 rushing yards last week, averaged 5.1 yards a carry, and had a very good outing against the Carolina Panthers in Week 1. And you have a very good backup since you moved off of Tank Bigsby. And we all know this about Liam Cohen when it's time with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He loves running back by committee. Some running backs can catch the football out of the backfield. Some of those running backs can hit certain creases within the offensive line, and they can be home run hitters. And right now you have that with ETN. Yes, you want to get Brian Thomas Jr. involved, in the same with Travis Hunter, but you have other weapons around this team. That's all that I'm saying. And be on lookout for the tight end position with the Jags in this matchup with Brendan Strange. He's had some very good moments in the past with the Jaguars, especially last season when he became the starting tight end. So far in the season, 7 catches, 76 receiving yards. And speaking of Travis Hunter, I would like to see him be played more on the offensive end. Right now, he is splitting snaps offensively and defensively. They're still trying to figure out, is he a better wide receiver? Is he a better defensive back? And this matchup against the Houston Texans, you need all the offensive firepower that you can get right now, because you can live through your front 7 when you go against the Houston Texans team that are having a lot of offensive line issues. And usually when you have a very good front 7, it helps out your secondary. So give Travis Hunter more snaps on the offensive end and even put him in on special teams. He has that breakaway speed and he has that game-wrecking speed on the offensive end. Now, as far as the defense here for the Jags, last week, you allowed a lot of points to Jake Browning and the same with Joe Burrow, 31 points. And I know that Trevor Lawrence had those 2 interceptions, but you have Josh Allen up front and the same with Trayvon Walker, 2 talented pass rushers that can consistently get to the quarterback over and over again. You have to put that pressure on CJ. And you can even go out there and blitz CJ in this matchup. Right now, CJ's having a tough time against pressure and a tough time against the blitz. You single out Nico Collins and you make him fully scan the field. And hopefully your pass rush can get home. And this is a very talented secondary with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You still have Tyson Campbell on this roster. Tyson Campbell can go out there and he can give you a lot of problems. And you have Jordan Lewis in the nickel cornerback spot, who is one of the best at that position in the NFL. That's why you brought him over from the Dallas Cowboys. He's been a very good player so far with the Jaguars. But you need to press up on these wide receivers and get aggressive and force CJ to have those hard options down the field. And watch out for the run game with Woody Marks and the same with Nick Chubb. This is a brand new offense with the Houston Texans. It's a bunch of crossing routes and a bunch of out routes. If you sit on top of the wide receivers, you should be okay. Nothing deep, nothing cheap. Make the Houston Texans have to earn it. And the one thing that the Texans are struggling with right now, costly turnovers. CJ had an interception against the Los Angeles Rams. That wasn't on him. The wide receiver could not come down with the football. Here comes Kobe Durant. Have those opportunities on the back end. And if you can cash in those opportunities, you get more possessions with Trevor Lawrence. And if you go up by 2 or 3 possessions, drain out the clock because you have the run game. Tire out this defense of the Houston Texans. So it's hand in hand here with the offense and the same with the defense. But getting that pressure on CJ and taking away that first read of Nico Collins and forcing other weapons outside of Nico to defeat you would be a very good game plan for the Jags to follow in this matchup. The Jaguars right now could be 2-0, and that'll be a different conversation. And let's not forget, this is a division game. So whoever wins this matchup, it can easily help you out towards the end of the season when it comes to tiebreakers and strength of schedule, things of that nature. But the keys to victory here for the Jaguars, play through your front 7 on the defensive end. It should help out your secondary. Be on lookout for Tyson Campbell and Jordan Lewis and take away that first option with CJ. Offensively, Trevor Lawrence. Will the real Trevor Lawrence stand up? Are you the Trevor Lawrence that made the NFL playoffs a few years ago with Doug Peterson and won that playoff game against the Los Angeles Chargers, who did a very good job of taking care of the football and was running the offense to the T? Or are you the Trevor Lawrence that's going to go out there and have 3 passing touchdowns and 2 interceptions in this matchup? Take care of the football, live through the run game, and take those deep shots down the field if they are there to Travis Hunter, and the same with Brian Thomas Jr. And they need Brian Thomas Jr. to step up. He's been very underwhelming so far. Not to say that he's been a terrible player, but whenever he faces that contact, he is shying away from it. He's running out of bounds. I don't know if he's dealing with an injury, but last year, this was not the case. And this most definitely was not the case when he was back playing at LSU, to where he was one of the best wide receivers in college at that time. Let's take a break from today's action and let's talk about today's sponsor. DraftKings. You can win big on and off the field with your favorite players and with your favorite team. With the NFL season being placed into full effect, Mondays, Sundays, and Thursdays just got a bit more interesting. For new customers, you use $5, you get $200 back in bonus bets if you use code ALLPRO. That's ALLPRO in all caps. And it's more than just the NFL that you can bet on. We have the NBA regular season kicking off very soon. The MLB playoffs are right around the corner, and the same with the WNBA playoffs. You bet the over, you bet the under. And if sports betting is not legalized in your state just yet, that's fine. You can also go out there and you can play DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports, and you can still have a shot to win cash prizes of all sorts. And once again, I want to shout out to DraftKings for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to the action. Now let's talk about CJ and the Houston Texans. Tough sledding last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You lost this matchup 20-19, but you did start out on fire. CJ goes down there on the first drive, gets a passing touchdown to Nico Collins. On the day, CJ was 13 of 24, 207 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown to 0 interceptions, and he got sacked 3 times. The reason why I said last week was a tough loss, you had this game. You had so many chances to go out there and score touchdowns or just go out there and get field goals, but it came down to bad coaching. You're running shotgun when it's 4th and goal. Don't do that ever again with this group of Houston Texans players. You had a block punt in this matchup as well. You're not able to cash in and capitalize on those opportunities, and it tired out your defense. The offense has to be better. You did not even score an offensive touchdown against the Los Angeles Rams in week 1, and it starts up front. The offensive line has to be better from tackle to tackle. You have Ariante at the left tackle position, Lincoln Thomason in the left guard position, Jake Andrews, Ed Ingram, and you have Titus Howard. At this point in time, the offensive line is so inconsistent. They'll go out there, they'll have some good plays, and then the next play, CJ has no time inside the pocket. Move CJ outside to the right. He's a right-handed quarterback, and he did a very good job his rookie season working with motion and working off of play action. You do have Nick Chubb, who had a huge run last week that gave the Houston Texans the lead late in the matchup. He had 12 carries, 43 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. He only averaged 3.6 yards a carry, and the longest rush went for 25 yards. But let CJ go out there and let him use his legs. He's not a dynamic runner like Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. That's okay. If he can go out there and get some extra time to see the field, and his throw on the movement can be precise in this matchup, like how it was in the beginning of his rookie season and how it was at the beginning of last year in his sophomore season, you could be working with something. But you don't want him to just be a sitting duck inside the pocket. Nico Collins has had a quiet season so far through 2 games, but we know that's going to change. Last week, 3 catches, 52 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. Woody Marks was the second leading wide receiver, and that's your running back. 1 catch, 37 receiving yards. Use him more so in the receiving game. Get him going. And I like to see Woody Marks get more carries in the backfield behind Nick Chubb. We all know that Nick Chubb is the bell cow. You can give him 20 to 25 carries a game. He's not the same Nick Chubb that he once was because of the knee injuries and the broken foot that he suffered with the Cleveland Browns. But he's going to wear down the defense over and over again, and you can get some of those big-time plays with Woody Marks coming out of the backfield. But they need to give these wide receivers more chances. You drafted 2 rookies out of Iowa State, and Jaden Higgins, and the same with Jalen Noel. Let those guys go out there and let them play. If they're not ready to go out there and constantly get open over and over again, that's fine. You have Christian Kirk. This will be his first game that he's been able to play this season. He missed week 1 and week 2 with a hamstring injury. He's a solid deep threat, but he's known for being a man beater. Whenever you run man coverage, he's going to go out there and get open 9 times out of 10. Now, this is very interesting because he was with the Jacksonville Jaguars over the last few years. They moved on from him. Originally, they were going to cut him, but the Texans came in and they said, hey, Tank Dell, he's out for this entire season. We're not going to bring back Stephon Diggs. Let's go out there and bring in a veteran, speedy wide receiver that's a smooth route runner and Christian Kirk. The one problem with Christian Kirk, he's had a lot of crucial drops in his career with the Arizona Cardinals, with the Jags. But as a number 2 option, he can definitely help you out in this matchup. Don't go out there and stretch out the field and have those long developing route plays over and over again. And this is what has hurt the Houston Texans so far against the Los Angeles Rams. Even though you did not score an offensive touchdown, you had 9 points. You lost 9-14. But Nick Caley, the brand new offensive coordinator, because you had Bobby Slowick over the last 2 years with CJ, he's calling these deep routes down the field. You don't have the offensive personnel for that on the offensive line. So more short routes underneath, more curl routes, more slant routes, more end breakers that should help you out in this matchup against the Jaguars and take those easy plays if you are CJ. Now, a lot of the struggles with the Houston Texans, play calling and offensive line in my opinion, but CJ has to be better. He's not scanning the field at the same rate that he was his rookie season and his sophomore season. It was a play last week. Dalton Schultz is wide open. He sees him late. Here comes a linebacker. It was another situation. Nico Collins is open deep. He sees him late. Here comes a safety. He goes for a deflection. He needs to be quicker with those reads, and CJ has to be better for that. Right now, he's locking onto certain targets, and he's trying to make certain plays happen. When he saw Dalton Schultz late, he was staring down Nico Collins, open up the field. And that's on him. He has to go out there, take the defense gives you. Yes, if it just goes for 2 to 3 yards, now it's 2nd and 7. Or it could be 2nd and 6. You'll be okay. You live to see other downs. But if that deep shot is there, you have to do a better job of turning your head, sling it, and just let it go. Trust your wide receivers, and I know it's hard to do because the offensive line protection has been terrible dating back to his rookie season, but trust in your offensive line. step up inside the pocket and make some of those throws across the field if those wide receivers are open. But Dalton Schultz, he needs to step up in this matchup in terms of catching the football, and Christian Kirk should add a lot of juice to this offense, and that's what they're missing right now. Far as the running backs, you have Nick Chubb and Woody Marks. Joe Mix is not walking through the door anytime soon. He is still dealing with that foot injury. But it comes down to offensive line protection, and can the wide receivers give CJ enough help on the outside? He's done a phenomenal job in terms of taking care of the football. Against the Rams, you had a fumble with the backup running back in the red zone. You had a crucial drop that went for an interception with Jaden Higgins. That's not on CJ. The players, they have to do a better job around him taking care of the football, and CJ needs to do a better job in terms of scanning the field and reading certain defensive coverages, especially against the blitz. Now, as far as the defense here with the Houston Texans, I think that this is a Super Bowl caliber defense. But last week, towards the end of the game, they could not stop the run. Be on lookout for that in this matchup because Liam Cohen, he loves to stick with the run game all the way through. And if this is a close game, the defense, you may have to shuffle out some players because they were gassed last week because they were on the field for majority of the time. This is where your offense can help out your defense here. But Will Anderson, special player, had a very good game last week. And the same with Danielle Hunter. They can get after the quarterback. Baker Mayfield did not have a crucial interception last week. The week before, Matthew Stafford, he did not have a crucial interception either. Trevor Lawrence is throwing an interception against the Carolina Panthers. He threw 2 interceptions last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. No offense to those teams. The Houston Texans have superior personnel on the back end and with their front seven. Get after Trevor Lawrence and cash in on those turnovers. Make the most of every opportunity that you can get. If a defender gets his hand on the ball, it's a reason why you're playing defense. Because if you could catch the football, you would have been a wide receiver. But you have to cash in. And when I look at this secondary, C.J. Gardner-Johnson had a very good season with the Philadelphia Eagles last year. Had 6 interceptions. The reason why they brought him in, Kansas City, they tested out these safeties over and over again. And the same with the Baltimore Ravens. You can't do that right now, and you're hoping that C.J. can make them pay. So be on lookout for him in this matchup, and the same with Kalen Bullock. Derek Stingley Jr. and Kamari, they need to be better. I know that they are a top cornerback duo based off last season, but Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, they were giving them problems. And last week, they let up a lot of yards to those wide receivers in open space. They need to be more aggressive at the line of scrimmage. Stop playing that zone coverage. Go back to that man coverage. This is what D'Amico Ryans has been known to do, even dating back to his time with the San Francisco 49ers. Play that man coverage over and over again. If you get beat, hey, that's fine. That's why you have safety help over the top. And you shouldn't have enough time. Trevor Lawrence should not have enough time to go out there and throw the football deep anyway because of the amazing pass rushers that you have going against that offensive line. The linebackers, Henry To'oTo'o and Azeez Al-Shaair, they need to be better in space against running backs because I'm telling you right now, the way that Liam Cohen uses his running backs by using motion and having them in the receiving game, if you give them 3 to 4 yards of separation, you're asking for trouble. They will go out there and they will take those big chunk plays on the ground over and over again. And now you're making life easier for Trevor Lawrence. You want to make him as uncomfortable as possible on this field and cash in on those turnovers if they come your way. But this is going to be a very good matchup. I have the Chargers and Broncos being my game of the week. This is my second game that I'm looking forward to this weekend because this standpoint, the Texans, they're looking for their first win of the season. And you know that the media cycle is not going to be too friendly of CJ if they go 0-3. You have a lot of people right now, they're questioning CJ. They're saying, hey, is he the answer long-term for the Houston Texans? He may just been a one-year wonder. I don't feel that way, but some people do. Then you have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Can Trevor Lawrence step back up? We've seen him have success in the NFL, win a playoff game with his brand new head coach in Liam Cohen. So you have this defensive-minded head coach, D'Amico Ryans, who's won this division 2 years in a row. And you have this young upstart coach in Liam Cohen who did a phenomenal job last year with Baker Mayfield and that offense. It is so many things to follow in this matchup. With that being said, I do have to pick a winner. Now, the Houston Texans only scored 9 points in that first game against the Rams. In game number 2 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you scored 20 points. We've seen the Jacksonville Jaguars go out there and outscore the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers right now, they're a bad football team. But last week, you were able to go out there and have an offensive explosion against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think that the Houston Texans come out on top in this matchup. It's going to be a nasty physical football game. I have the Texans winning this game 23-20. Let me know in the comment section below, who do you have taking this matchup, the Houston Texans or the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, when each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless.